A man is torn from the woman he loves and sold into slavery. Forced into chains, marched across deserts, and treated as property with no promise of ever seeing her again, while she endures brutal punishment under a cruel master. But the moment an unexpected stranger pulls him out of that fate, everything begins to change. He steps into a deadly path where every move brings him closer to her and deeper into danger. Set in 1858 Texas, 2 years before the Civil War, a chain gang of shackled enslaved black people are forced to march across the harsh desert under the watch of the ruthless Speck brothers, Ace and Dickie. Among them is Django, a man torn from his wife Broomhilda after being sold away. One night, their grim journey is suddenly interrupted by Dr. King Schultz, a peculiar German dentist turned bounty hunter.
Who's that stumbling around in the dark?
Who approaches in the dark with an air of confidence. The Speck brothers react with suspicion and hostility, but Schultz calmly diffuses the tension, revealing he's searching for them specifically. His real goal is to find and purchase Django, believing him to be the key to tracking down the notorious Brittle brothers, whom Django once knew from the Carucan plantation. Schultz questions the enslaved group about anyone from the Carucan plantation,
A resident of the Carucan plantation.
prompting Django to speak up, and by the glow of his lantern, Schultz confirms he's found the right man. He presses Django about the Brittle brothers, Big John, Ellis, and Roger, former overseers Django once served under, and Django confidently explains he can identify them anywhere. The tense exchange is suddenly disrupted when Ace lashes out, refusing to sell Django and aggressively pointing his gun at Schultz,
Or are you pointing your weapon at me with lethal intention?
who coolly mocks his bravado before, in a split second, killing him and shooting Dickie's horse, trapping Dickie helplessly beneath it. As chaos settles into stunned silence, Schultz remains eerily calm, casually taunting the injured Dickie to stay quiet while he finishes his business.
I'd like to finish my line of inquiry with young Django.
Returning his focus to Django, Schultz resumes the conversation as if nothing happened, now fully in control of the situation, and makes it clear he intends to pay a fair price
110?
and secure Django's help in tracking down the Brittle brothers. If you are enjoying this recap, make sure to hit the like button. Schultz leaves the remaining enslaved men to deal with Dickie themselves,
You could unshackle yourselves?
while Django claims Ace's coat and horse, symbolizing the first shift in his fate. The next day, the pair ride into Daughtry, Texas, drawing shocked stares as Django becomes the first black man anyone there has seen on horseback, even causing the innkeeper to flee in panic when they enter a bar. Seizing control of the situation, Schultz explains his true profession as a bounty hunter.
Bounty hunter.
Someone who kills wanted men and collects rewards, contrasting it with the cruelty of the slave trade, and admits he needs Django's help to find the Brittle brothers. Though uneasy, Schultz strikes a deal. Django will help identify and kill them in exchange for his freedom and payment.
I agreed to give you your freedom.
As they travel together, Schultz learns of Django's wife, Broomhilda, who speaks some German and was once a house slave, deepening Django's motivation to reunite with her. Their journey leads them to a Tennessee plantation, where they plan an elaborate ruse, with Django posing as Schultz's valet. At the estate of Spencer Big Daddy Bennett, Schultz cleverly gains access by pretending to negotiate a purchase, allowing Django to quietly search for clues about the Brittle brothers,
I'm looking for 3 white men.
only to discover they may be hiding under different names. The Tina unknowingly leads Django straight to the Brittle brothers, revealing that Ellis Brittle is out in the fields while his brothers, John Brittle and Roger Brittle, are at the stables brutally punishing a young boy.
You better give me that arm.
Acting quickly, Django storms in, kills John, and savagely beats and executes Roger just as Dr. King Schultz arrives. calmly confirming their identities before sniping Ellis as he tries to flee. With the Brittles eliminated, their mission is complete. But that night, Spencer Big Daddy Bennett gathers a posse to take revenge, despite the legal warrant protecting Schultz and Django. Unshaken, Schultz outsmarts them with an explosive trap, destroying their ambush and giving Django the chance to take down Big Daddy himself. Later, as the dust settles, the two share a quiet meal where Django speaks about Broomhilda. Moved by his story, Schultz offers him a true partnership, proposing that Django work with him as a bounty hunter through the winter,
I have to admit we make a good team.
earn a share of the profits, and eventually gain the means to rescue his wife. Schultz fully commits to helping Django reunite with his wife,
And we'll find where they sent your wife.
promising to take him to Greenville and track down where she was sent. The two return to Texas and begin working together as bounty hunters, with Django successfully killing his first target, Smitty Bacall, and earning his first payment while sharpening his shooting skills. Over the winter, they build a deadly reputation, collecting bounties with efficiency and forming a strong partnership. By spring, their journey leads them to Mississippi, where they discover that Broomhilda has been sold to Calvin J. Candy,
He owns the fourth biggest cotton plantation.
the ruthless owner of the infamous Candyland plantation. Realizing a direct approach won't work, Schultz devises an elaborate con. Instead of simply buying her, they will pose as wealthy investors, with Django playing a knowledgeable buyer. Subscribe to the channel before watching ahead. Django and Dr. King Schultz meet Calvin Candy at his exclusive club, where savage Mandingo fights are underway. Spectacles Django pointedly refuses to watch, while Schultz maintains their cover by offering $12,000 for one of Candy's top fighters as a calculated distraction to eventually secure Broomhilda.
It would be to discuss business.
The ploy works, capturing Candy's interest and earning them an invitation to Candyland. But on the journey there, Schultz quietly warns Django to stay composed if he wants any chance of rescuing his wife.
Don't get so carried away with your retribution.
Along the way, they witness a brutal scene as Candy's trackers corner D'Artagnan, a runaway fighter who pleads for mercy after losing his last match. Schultz nearly breaks character by offering to buy his freedom,
I'll reimburse you.
but Django intervenes to protect their plan. In a chilling test of loyalty, Candy turns to Django, forcing him to appear ruthless as he orders the dogs to maul D'Artagnan to death. Forced to watch D'Artagnan's brutal death, Dr. King Schultz and Django press on to Candyland, where Steven quickly grows suspicious of Django's free status.
Who this nigga on that nag?
Schultz arranges to meet Broomhilda, whom Django sees being dragged out in distress after severe mistreatment and punishment, barely holding back his rage. That night, Schultz secretly explains their rescue plan in German, leading to a brief but emotional reunion.
Hey, little troublemaker.
During dinner, Steven carefully observes Broomhilda's shaken reaction to Django and pieces together the truth, testing his suspicion before confirming they share a connection. Realizing their real aim is to rescue her, not buy fighters, he informs Calvin Candy, turning the situation into a calculated and dangerous trap.
Cause that nigga Django's in love with Hildy.
Inside Candyland, Calvin Candy dismisses the others and confronts Django and Dr. King Schultz, exposing their true plan to buy Broomhilda and cruelly having her dragged in while physically abusing her. He forces a new deal at gunpoint, demanding $12,000 for her instead of the fighter Eskimo Joe, backed by threats of further torture.
Now considering y'all have written a whole lot of
Schultz reluctantly agrees and pays, but when Candy arrogantly demands a handshake to seal it,
If I don't shake your hand,
Schultz snaps and kills him. Chaos erupts as Candy's men gun Schultz down, and Django unleashes a violent shootout before surrendering to save Broomhilda, who is taken hostage. The next day, Django is captured and tortured, nearly castrated, but is instead sold off to a mining company. On the way, he cleverly deceives his escorts, posing as a bounty hunter,
I'm a bounty hunter.
and promising them reward money, setting up his escape. After tricking them into freeing him, he kills them and takes their weapons and dynamite. Armed and determined, he rides back to Candyland, swiftly taking out the trackers before retrieving Broomhilda's freedom papers from Dr. King Schultz's body, pausing to pay silent respect
I'll be the same.
and vow revenge. He then rescues Broomhilda from captivity and, as night falls, systematically kills Laura Lee, Billy Crash, and the remaining henchmen returning from Calvin Candy's funeral. Confronting Steven, Django cripples him and ignites the dynamite planted across the mansion, leaving him inside as the estate explodes. With vengeance complete, Django and Broomhilda watch Candyland burn before finally riding off together to freedom. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share this with your friends.